What conspiracy theory do you believe to be true? What evidence led you to this conclusion? Marilyn Monroe was murdered by the US government. She frequently attempted suicide and then called someone via her landline next to her bed to come save her. When she died, no traces of it were found within her stomach, and her colon had been extremely cleaned. A theory is that she was murdered via enema poisoning. I haven't brushed up on it or researched in a long time, so I am probably remembering facts incorrectly. Search it up on YouTube, it's quite interesting. I'm pretty sure she was overprescribed a medicine by two diff doctors or an accident. They're the ones who found her. They were the ones who wouldn't let anyone into her room for hours. She took an extra dose that day, then the second doctor gave her a medicated enema to calm her down, and she OD'd. And then they made it look like suicide to not lose their licenses or their lives. It was an accident but definitely covered up.
Please take a moment to go donate to teamtrees.org. Let's help make the world a better place. Thank you.
The Fresno police killed John Lang. It's been a while since I've read the story, so forgive me if I get something wrong. John Lang was a journalist who was very critical of the FPD. He wrote an article about how the police went into poor parts of the city and pulled cars over that parked in free parking lots or something like that. Eventually, he started noticing people watching his house, FBI style. One night he asked on Facebook if he could stay in someone's home for the night, as he knew the police were going to kill him that night. After no one let him, his house caught on fire. The coroner said that he was stabbed to death, but then retracted that statement. That last part is what makes me believe it's 100% real. Edit. The coroner now says it was a suicide, not an accident. Owen had a YouTube channel where he uploaded all the evidence of the police watching his house and all kind of shit they doing to him. John Lang's YouTube channel. Used to live in a small town in South Dakota, and I am convinced there is something in the food water there to keep people there. I'm partially convinced it's actually the Dairy Queen causing this, because for a town of 7,000, this place is always so busy, and somehow, every year for the past 11 years, the entire length of this competition sells the most blizzards on Miracle Treat Day. A town of 7,000 outsells every other Dairy Queen. There's also some other things in that the town has a significant amount of people all with very similar disabilities to their left legs. I honestly am just glad I'm out of that town before it sucked me in, but how the hell does that small-ass town sell 40,000 blizzards in a day? The stories about Dan Schneider. Watching some clips of shows he produces is downright creepy. The tweets of his actresses' feet don't help his cause. The fact that there is a secret society of people keeping Long John Silvers in business. Long John Silver's locations are meeting places for lizard men. I have a sneaking suspicion that some televangelists may not be entirely sincere in their beliefs. What gave it away? I keep ink pens from every year dating back to 2008 in my desk so that if I need to forge and backdate an important document I can sign it with ink that matches the year I'm backdating. Yes, feds do check ink in fraud investigations. Not really a conspiracy but might answer a few questions. You don't need one of each year, just use a pen from 2008 and it could feasibly have been used any date after that. Fountain pens are great for this. Most of my inks are a decade older. Also makes it very hard for someone to convincingly forge my signature. I put a little bit of green in my black, and the pen I use for very important things like contacts and legal logbooks has a very well-worn nib. Restaurant owners know how awkward it is to be sung to in front of the whole establishment, and they do it to discourage people from taking advantage of their free birthday food. iHeartRadio coordinates commercials breaks to all take place simultaneously, so you're forced to listen to ads, even you change the station. They're practically a monopoly in my area, and I notice it happens to me all the time. That the USA deliberately gets into an armed conflict every decade or so for the purpose of ensuring that at any given time, they always have a critical mass of soldiers with actual combat experience. They get in a lot of conflicts, and it seems highly probable that the leadership of a country that spends so much on national defense would highly value the institutional knowledge that comes from that kind of continuity of practical experience, even if it comes at a high human cost. This is more of a personal conspiracy. I've been working as an American healthcare consultant for 2 years now, and I genuinely think that insurance companies are purposely denying claims so that they can leverage dollar for their beneficiaries' medical records. For example, one of my clients, a huge and important hospital system, had to deal with hundreds of thousands of dollars of medical claim denials because Humana suddenly decided it didn't believe any of those hospital stays were legitimate. They basically told my client to either fax hundreds of medical records or accept the zero pays. It's really suspicious and unfortunate. But when they have the money, what can you do? Area 51 is not a place for secret government military testing with aliens and stuff. Instead, Area 51 is a scapegoat while shady behind-the-scenes stuff is going on at another military base that the general public doesn't know about. I mean, if you were really going to do something in secrecy, would you do it in the place where everyone thinks it is? Hell no. I don't have any specific evidence to back this up, but it makes sense, right? A forensics specialist believes Jamie Hewlett of Gorillas is Banksy. It's not as big as other submissions here, but it's a theory I buy. Edit. Thank you everyone for providing your own theories in the comments. I buy into a good handful of them now. Banksy is a collective. I believe it started off as the one man from Bristol, but he's since enlisted other artists from countries around the world. Maybe to carry the torch in case of his death? Maybe he already did die and now Banksy is a crew honoring the UG and keeping the train going. Just speculation. Who knows? How else would Banksy have been caught in the act several times with several different faces, painting art which was confirmed as legit on the Banksy website? Example? Here is a man caught in Israel painting a stencil that soon after was published on Banksy's site. He is the same person as this man who was revealed to be the artist known as AME72, you can find him on Instagram. Then we have this man seen painting a famous Banksy piece in England somewhere. Admittedly, this isn't a great picture, but it looks to me like the man in that picture is the same as this person caught at another piece in Hull. Here is a better picture of who I believe to be the same person, and here is a better shot of that same person looking at his own work. Bottom line, they are quite clearly at least two different people who have painted different pieces that have been confirmed as Banksy pieces. That Apple started the AirPods meme, and right before Christmas they would give out $150 gift cards. Disney made Zootopia partly to replace the Song of the South characters from Splash Mountain. Splash Mountain is really the only thing that still exists in the public eye from Song of the South, along with the song Zip-a-Dee-Doo-Dah, since Disney wants to pretend that movie doesn't exist. So they created a movie featuring Fox and Rabbit characters that could replace Burr Fox and Burr Rabbit and retheme the entire ride to be Zootopia themed, while leaving some things, like the name and the songs featured in the ride, from Song in the South. There's also that Disney loves retheming things to their IP now, getting rid of Maelstrom and bringing in a Frozen-themed ride, so it would make sense for them to retheme a ride to a successful recent movie, then keep a ride based off an old, mildly racist movie they're trying to forget. I'm starting to think that the really stupid conspiracy theories, vaccines causing autism, flat earth, lizard people, etc., are intentionally spread by propaganda groups and troll farms. They don't care what stupid crap you believe, but they are very interested to know that you're a gullible mark who will believe anything with no evidence and won't do research with authorities on the matter to find the truth. If you want to spread misinformation, look for the people who do it as a hobby. There was a report recently that Russian bot farms are spreading anti-vax memes in mass across US and Europe. Even if they may or may not have started it, they are certainly willing to capitalize off it. Gum's gotten mintier lately. Have you noticed? Like, some of it's just too minty. Mason jars created Pinterest to sell more mason jars. The 10-year challenge all over social media is actually a way to record and gather more facial recognition data. No Shave November is to train facial recognition to better recognize bearded faces. The F-35 project over cost was actually a slush found for secret research. The lines on the detergent caps are higher than they should be, so you use more detergent for each load of laundry. It's so easy for them to get away with it. The Area 51 caller on Art Bell's show was a prank call, but it wasn't Brian Glass like he says. The connection dropping was pure coincidence. Edit. Art on the caller, taken from his AMA. Area 51 caller, at the time it occurred I absolutely thought it was real. There are others since who have expressed doubts. But it sure as hell was good radio. The news report about beards containing more bacteria than a dog that just licked his own a hole. Beards are messing with facial recognition software. The man wants beards to not be trendy anymore. Our apartment building has windows that are nearly impossible to affix a screen to, same goes for the sliding doors. The power is centralized and locked into a certain expensive power company. I believe the developer and power company conspired to make people living in the apartments use the aircon more by making it hard to keep windows open without dozens of mosquitoes coming inside. Edit. People are asking about my language, I'm Australian. Thanks to draconian Aussie renting laws, I'm pretty limited in which modifications I can do. I feel like drugs like cocaine being cut with fentanyl. No dealer who wants to keep making money is going to cut their blow with fent. It seems like drugs are being intercepted, cut with dangerous crap, and then sent back out. Evidence. They already did the same thing during alcohol prohibition. The people doing it are convinced they are doing society a favor. Some celebrities fake their deaths to retire from public eyes. I used to tell people that I believed the government listened to our phone calls. Years later some guy named Snowden proved me right. That the dust the Kleenex tissue have makes you sneeze more, therefore using more tissues. The Hawaii nuke false alarm last year was actually the US government testing to see how the general population would react if an actual nuclear war broke out. I believe that the government probably makes some conspiracy theories to try to make questioning the government seem somewhat crazy.